and welcome back to Date with the Divas. We aspire to bring you quality and engaging content regarding hot topics, your favorite celebrities, fashion, and all of that. Everything in this video is alleged and presented in the most biased and opinionated way. We want you, our loyal subscribers, to jump down in those comments and share your opinions. And if you haven't subscribed, please click that subscribe button and like our videos and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Date with the Divas and on Twitter, Date W the Divas. So now let me introduce you to our divas. We have Ms. Nicole.
Hey, ladies.
And we have Ms. Marilyn.
Evening, divas.
We have Entrees.
Cheers, divas.
We have Marnita.
What's up?
Alicia.
Hey now.
We have Ms. Lava.
Good evening.
And then we have me, Joe. So Ms. Alicia, what do you have for us today?
Oh, let me tell you, Joe, I got some tea for you guys straight
All
from
right.
the hot Atlanta press. So
All right.
reality star from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Erica Mena, broke down in tears after finalization of her divorce when she got news that her ex-husband, Safaree Samuels, will only have to pay $4,305 a month combined for two children, right? Look, see, she broke down in tears on the show, crying about that. The pair was only married for 2 years. She is quoted to having said, "Are you effing kidding me? Now all the financial burden with my children is on me? That's not fair. He doesn't have to pay none of it. This is bleep up," end quote. Exactly, ladies. So, however, in one of the scenes on the show, she revealed to her friends that Safaree cried out in court that she made more money than him. That's right. So she apparently makes more money than him. Now, child support in Georgia is calculated using the income shares model, which was adopted by the Georgia legislation back in 2007.
Teach us, girl.
So that model is calculated by taking into account each parent's income to ultimately determine how much child support the non-custodial parent will be ordered to pay.
Okay.
So what do you ladies think about this? Do you think that's a fair amount of money, or is that too low? Do you agree with Erica, or do you disagree?
She just shot herself in the foot right there. Like, come on now, girl.
And who can't raise 2 children on $4,000 a month?
Well, doesn't she have 3? Doesn't she have 3 kids altogether?
She does. She has a child from a previous.
2 with him. He ain't
Just
2 with her from the third one.
Previous relationship.
And she has a 3rd one, and her third or her eldest one is with another entertainer. So you're making some
My
money.
thing is $4,300 to the normal Joe Schmo. That's pretty decent, because you got some mothers out there getting $150 a month for 3 kids.
Oh wow.
But do we not think that fathers should ensure that their children live the same lifestyle that they're living, or a lifestyle that's equivalent to the, so I don't know if you guys watch the show. Safaree is bling bling, Gucci suits. He's his car, like he's really demonstrative with how rich.
But those could all be rich.
But clearly his Instagram life is not reflective of his real pocket life.
I was gonna say that he can be in debt. He can be in debt. Just because you showing don't mean, people trying to keep up with the Joneses, you don't really know what their income is. Like, what is this financial thing to look at?
Show. So
and if he wants to do that, go buy the kids a Gucci suit.
A recording artist of some kind. I don't follow his career.
But he does a lot of
I was gonna say, what does he
producing,
do?
and he does a lot of writing. His strength, that's the only thing he got going on right now.
According to, from what I saw, to Celebrity Net Worth, they said he's worth $3 million.
Oh well, so
he's got some money. But then again, it doesn't. The $3 million doesn't necessarily have to be in paper, like as in cash. It could be in various things. But I agree with you, Entrees. I believe the child should be the lifestyle of the parents, you know, or
but
if
he can still provide them with Gucci suits, Gucci shoes. That's not mandated, you know. It's just,
right.
I mean, I think she just needs to come down to reality with like what she's crying about. Like y'all was saying, like there's mothers out there getting a lot less. If you on VH1 crying, just go get you another endorsement deal. Like talking about he's not, I've got to be the sole person. Like, no, you're not. You're getting support.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the way she's wording it makes it seem like she doesn't want to contribute anything to her kids. Like just because they're living with you, like she doesn't have to do anything else. No.
Yeah, she didn't say that, but that's what it intimates when she says that. Like I'm the only one or something.
And intimates that he's a deadbeat.
Right. So
And
now
that's
let's talk about this whole child support thing. Do you guys think that the child support system is fair to fathers, or should the system change a little bit?
I think the system needs to change somewhat because they do just look at it in black and white. There are a lot of men, just because it says on paper, this is what they have, then they can't afford to support themselves afterwards. You know, you give everything you have, you give half of your income to the other household. How are you supposed to live? And if you can't live, you can't have quality time with your children. You're stressed all the time. Your kids don't want to come to where you are because you're living in some little rat hole. Yeah, there are many times I think where it's unfair.
Oh, boo-hoo. Meanwhile, Mama works 3 jobs, goes to school, does everything she needs to do to make sure her kids eat.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah, like go to all their activities, get every single thing they need. Women do whatever they have to do.
And so do some men.
And that's the thing, I agree with you, but then, you know, on the flip side of it, you have some men who, you know, bunk the system, and what they do is they report false income, you know, so that it's lower than it necessarily is, and then they don't come and pick up the kids. They don't do anything extra, and then they barely pay the $150, the $200, or whatever it is that they're required to do. So there's both
sides of the coin.
Her side, and
that's why I said it can't be just a black and white on paper thing.
Most definitely.
I think women get shafted much more than the men do, though, in this situation.
Oh, I think they do too in most cases.
In most cases, I think so too. And I'm not saying that, you know, there aren't men out there that aren't doing their fair share and things like this, or even the total opposite, where you have the women that are not present and the dad doing the full share of it. I'm not saying that there are not, but I don't know. Speaking as a woman, I kind of feel that it's more often than not that mom is making it happen however it has to happen.
And I agree with that totally. I feel like, you know, women are more so, you know, and I'll say this way, just like you said, you know, sometimes whoever the custodial parent is, 9 times out of 10, they're making a way for it to happen, for it to be for their children, whether or not that non-custodial parent is participating, is contributing. They will work 2 jobs.
Most of the time they have no choice. Like,
yeah, you have no choice.
They don't want,
you got a mouth to feed right there in front of you. You can't wait for somebody else to pick up the phone.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
Yeah. Or you got that kid sick, you can't wait for the next one, or all of you are sick. Well, you still got to take care.
You still got to go to work. You still got to make it happen. So you find a way. I just think that sometimes, you know, the system isn't fair. And sometimes, you know, when you do have, like, you know, the whole percentage wise as it relates to income. And sometimes, just like, you know, Nicole said, is it's, you know, it's more than black and white, because my income is this, but at the same token, are we factoring in the fact of after school activities, aftercare, you know, sickness, co-payments?
Some states have it where that is like a given, factored in. That's a given. But that's the problem. Some states, it's not across the board, so that can be a problem. And then of course, if that doesn't, like for a state, maybe where the cost of living is more expensive, if they don't factor that in, then that's an additional burden or a problem or something to think about.
Well, as Alicia said, in Georgia, they do a full review of each parent's
Yes.
income, and then they make a determination about what's fair.
So in every state, they do a full
She
review.
makes a lot more than him on her OnlyFans, apparently, like
Right.
millions more than he does. And apparently her salary on Love and Hip Hop is higher than his because she came in as the bigger name. So I'm not sure why she's crying when it seems like Erica's actually doing better than him.
Right.
Maybe
But
it's for a
And she's
storyline.
an author, like she's a hustler.
Yeah,
She
from
got
watching
stuff
the
going.
show though, he's treated her so badly, and he just hasn't been there for her in so many ways. I feel like this was just that extra slap in that final slap in the face for her.
Right.
Can you at least give me something? Can you at least give me something? Because you ain't doing nothing else. But like
And
I
you
said,
got
then
to walk away clean from this whole situation.
exactly.
Maybe he should start an OnlyFans. I mean,
I think
he has some
He
pictures
does.
leaked?
more
He
popular.
does. He's just not making as
I was
much.
like, I remember he had some pictures leaked a couple years ago that was talk of the town.
Right.
Hers is just more popular than his.
Yeah, totally agree with everyone there for sure. So we'll move on to our next hot topic.
All right.
So have you
Drop
all
that in the
seen
comments
that?
and let us know what you think.
Please tell us about your
Safaree side.
Exactly. Who are you rooting for there? So have you all seen the TV show Blackish? Yay,
Yes.
nay, maybe so.
Yes.
You familiar? Okay, great. Okay, so one of the kids who is a star there named Marsai Martin has grown up before our very eyes. She's been on that show
Little
from the
Diane.
beginning. And yes, look how pretty she is. Isn't she gorgeous?
Yes.
She is an entrepreneur in her own right. Okay. She is now crossed into young adulthood, 18 years old. But of course, online aunties and moms and dads are having a tough conversation about what is appropriate for a young lady. So there's having some mixed reactions to Marsai recently walking in a Savage X Fenty show. So she wore a printed animal print bodysuit, a piece included in Fenty's activewear collection. Some people feel like it's too sexualized and aren't likely, thinking that it's a great idea for her to transition from a childhood to a young woman in this type of manner. So what do you ladies think? Is this tasteful or is this tacky of what she's doing here?
I think it's tasteful. We've seen other childhood stars transition in a very more destructive way, with drugs and, just putting themselves out there. I think we have to remember, I was a big fan of Blackish. I still watch some of the repeats. Like when the show ended, her character was still in high school, like looking into going to college. But we have to separate that and know that she is 18. I know that she's very close with her parents. Her parents were working with her I think it's a production company and things like that.
Right.
We just got to remember that she's 18. She's not the little kid that we thought that she was.
But who's to say her parents, just like you're saying that her parents were very active within her career. Who's to say that this wasn't a conversation that they had, thinking that they were, they were okay with it. Who's to say they weren't on set making sure that their daughter was okay? But at the same token, I think we as a society need to accept to a certain degree that this was tasteful. It wasn't tasteless, that it was tasteful, and that she is maturing, and to give her that liberty.
Right.
I mean, be tasteful when you're 18.
I mean, when you're 18, you're feeling yourself, right? Aren't you feeling yourself?
She could have been butt naked. I don't mean butt naked, but
But she could have had on a bikini.
She could have had a bikini. It's tasteful.
If you watch the Savage Fenty show, she could have been on in so much more.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It was tasteful. I don't know.
Those girls used to stomp down the runway in a bra and panties and those wings.
Right. I just think it's because they want to put her and keep her in that little girl image from Blackish, and she's grown. I mean, 18, and you got to remember they grow up quickly being childhood stars and around all that fame and all that. And she isn't out there just, she could have been I don't remember Anita or who said it, very out there in a destructive way, and she was not. It still was classy for what she was wearing. It was a bodysuit. What is the big deal? We just can't keep these guys in the box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of the I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lava. Go ahead, Lava.
I think one of the statements was made is like the environment that she was in because Johnny Depp was there. Right. And I felt that it was just going too far. Y'all just want to find a reason to make a comment about let the girl live, let her live.
And if she
right, because they were trying to say
the age of consent, she can.
Yes.
Yeah, and ultimately, she, just like you said, she's the age of consent. She's made her choices. When you make your choices, there's good things that come out of it or bad things that come out of it. But those are your choices, and you keep marching on, and it is what it is, right? I mean, we can't, I think people are thinking in their heads, like you guys said, that, oh, well, she's this young child star and things like this. And, you know, are we maybe over sexualizing the younger generation too quickly, too much, and things like this? But I mean, you see this when you watch your normal washing your face commercials, those face commercials, you wash your face, or the makeup commercials, and you see these young girls promoting young skin and all of this stuff. I mean, you see this every day.
You know, she's pretty much leading and producing blockbuster movies and stuff like that. So she needs to try to seek other adult type of roles. And kind of the way to do that is to present yourself in an adult manner a little bit.
Most definitely.
Right. She can't play a teenager forever.
Exactly. Exactly.
And if people see her in something a little bit more provocative and mature, they're more apt to put her inside of a role and knowing that she can play the role. She can come off as more adult.
Yeah. But I definitely think talk like this from the online people pretty much perpetrate the burden of it being a woman's responsibility, how other people receive her. Right. You know, like, oh, she's too sexy. It's your fault because of the top you wear. Excuse me?
Yeah, go cover up. Don't look at how these men are looking at you. Well,
but I mean, then you could put it on the men's side too. Like, well, then why are you looking at her like that?
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like
it's a catch. It can't always be, me, and I get it, when I guess there was some talk when they were using the my body, my choice, right? That was I guess the chant that was being used with respect to abortion and things like this. But now they were trying to equate this or parallel this to her. And okay, to a point, I guess, her body, her choice. Let her decide how she wants herself to be portrayed. But at the same time, too, just because she's portraying whatever it is that she's doing doesn't mean, as a man, you don't have to ogle. And it goes the other way too. You have women probably ogling too, that might be attracted or whatever. But again, at the end of the day, this had to have been her choice. I would believe it's her choice that she put this, outfit on, and she seemed to be okay walking down the runway.
I'm sure, we know that Savage Fenty is a lingerie line with loungewear and activewear. So, making the choice to be in the show, that you're probably going to be in something that's a little more adult.
Right.
This is probably one of the more tame outfits.
Exactly.
And this is a role. This is just a role.
Yeah.
Doesn't equate to her in her whole life. It's just a role.
And did we forget, 16, 17, 18-year-old girls wear bras and panties and lingerie.
Heck yeah. Wasn't Britney Spears doing it in her this one hit me
baby one more time?
Yeah.
Right.
I just mean in their regular life. Like
yes.
Selling to young women that age. She wants them as customers. So she's got to include some younger women in that show.
Right. You have to know your audience, right? Or the audience that you want to attract to your brand, right?
Yeah, were we all wearing panties and bras and we were 17, 18 years old?
Right.
Okay. At least trying to
like
without mom seeing.
I was getting ready to say I wasn't able to, but I'm glad you were, Audrey.
I was in Victoria's Secret at 16.
I was, but
I was at JCPenney, but
not quite.
Right. Me and Marnita went to the same old school parents.
I was still wearing Lily of France and Liliette.
Exactly, Lily of France, right?
Or Olga.
Oprah has some cute stuff now, Lava.
They do, but the thing is, it was more. It,
But mom
you know, it
was
had some
still
cute
picking
stuff,
it
but
out.
the
Mom
mother
was
could
like,
see it in
yes or
Macy's.
no.
Now remember, Victoria's Secret did a whole separate branch of their brand called Pink, and that
Yes.
was marketed to
Or,
young
yeah.
16 to like 24 years old, and that is the part of their brand that took off and kind of
Right.
kept them going. So you
Go
know,
get your lotions, your bras, all
you
that
have
stuff.
to sell bras to young girls because they're wearing them.
Your sweats with pink around on the booty.
On the
So
booty.
very true. So everyone, let us know what your opinion is down in the comments below. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with the naysayers online or what? So now moving on to our next hot topic. So you're all like basketball fans and fans of this actress. We have Dwayne Wade's ex-wife is accusing a former NBA star of exploiting their trans daughter Zaya's gender identity for his own financial gain. That's right. Even though he's probably a billionaire, he does always add more money to that, right? So that's his ex-wife right there. And that's Zaya in the middle. And so his ex-wife objected to her ex-husband by making a legal petition saying that there are multiple factors or outlined in court documents. According to page 6, she said that Wade is positioned to profit from the minor child's name and gender change with various companies through contacts and marketing opportunities, including but not limited to deals with Disney. She adds, I have concerns that Wade may be pressuring our child to move forward with the name change in order to capitalize on financial opportunities. Wade told me that he intended to make our child very famous due to the name and gender issue, and also informed me that there would be endorsements and contracts associated with it. Zaya's transition has been highly publicized since she was 12 years old. Dwayne went on the Ellen Show and let the world know of his daughter's transition and what she was thinking and things like that. And so the former Miami Heat player stated in court filing that his ex-wife had received notice as a courtesy. Basically, he felt like, I just told you to be nice to you that I'm doing this, but I'm the primary parent and I am making this decision on my own and I don't need your input because you barely know our daughter, So I guess that relationship right there isn't as close as he is with her.
Okay.
So what do you guys think about this? Is Dwayne's ex-wife just seeking attention since she's not fully involved? Or do you think she has a point?
I'm not even really sure. The reason why I say this is because, from my understanding, they've had trouble in the past, from the time that they, divorced, and where there were, in the beginning, she was saying, they were lawsuits, I guess, because he didn't pay her on endorsements that she thought was coming in. And then there was a time, I guess there was an attempted child abduction between them. So
oh, wow.
I wonder, I don't want to negate what she's saying, but at the same time, it makes me wonder, okay, is this true or not? So I'm not really sure. I really wonder, but I'm not sure on this one. What do you ladies think?
Based on what I know, Dwayne Wade made a comment on his Instagram, and this was according to, was that the page 6 article I think that we read?
Yeah, the picture came from page 6. Let's give them their credit.
Yes. So he made a comment just basically saying that Zaya's mother has not been a part of her life for like the past couple of years, and that he invited her specifically to talk with with Zaya's therapist, her friends, her teachers, to understand what she's going through.
Right.
That she doesn't want to do this, and now she's coming up and filing this petition, and that there was some other type of lawsuit or petition filed, and she went through 13 or 14 lawyers or something, and he brought up the fact that he got custody even while he was full-time player in the NBA, and it was like, okay, for me to get custody then, while I'm traveling and everything, it says a lot. So I'm all I can do is base it on that. It's like this, I still don't know what I feel on, like, I don't have anybody in my family that's transgender. I know some people, but I don't know nobody close. And
Mhm.
so I'm still just like, I don't know what someone is going through, but if he's had therapist and all
Right.
that to talk to her, and he feels that this is what's best for his daughter, I don't feel like he's exploiting her. I think that he's just really trying to let her live a healthy life.
Right.
Why can't she live that life more privately? Why does her transition have to be so public and monetized? That's the part of it that
Well,
I'm a little uncomfortable with.
But is he really monetizing it? Because I know that's what's her name, his ex-wife's claim, but it's like, is he really monetizing it?
and even
I
if he
don't see why
is,
he
right?
would.
Even if he is this a discussion that's between him and his child? Because they had what is that reality show? It was a reality show way back and with the transgender individual, and
I
that
am
I
Kate,
mean,
Caitlyn Jenner.
no,
Caitlyn Jenner?
no.
No,
Even before that,
there was a young
No,
girl
I
that
know
did,
what
or
you're
I
talking
remember
about. It's a
that
show.
show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's called I
yes,
Am Jazz on TLC. I Am Jazz on
yes,
TLC.
there
Yes.
you go. I am Jazz. There you go. So I mean, are we hating on that? Like, why
Yeah,
can't they?
I think that I don't think there's
So honest. I love it. I'm being so honest. Yes, I was
Go ahead.
hating,
She
boo.
said,
I
yes,
was
I
hating. I love you
was.
on Pink Get It Girl. Go ahead.
yes, I don't see the rush. I think it's a huge decision to change your whole gender. And I don't see the harm in waiting until you're 18. You
Well,
you have to be
I
18
read
to vote. You have to be 21 to drink. I think changing your gender should be, on that level. I'm not saying anybody, if that's who you are, be who you are. But you've got your whole life to make that.
And I think, just to be clear, from what I've heard, it's just changing the gender on the birth certificate, like not
Right.
surgery
I understand.
wise.
Yeah, there's no
And
surgery.
legally changing her name. Legally changing the
Right.
name as well.
well.
Name and her gender, which is huge. It's a big deal.
Mhm,
Because
mhm,
many transgender people never have surgery.
Right.
mhm.
They change their name and they change
Well,
their
I think it's
gender
just individual.
specification.
I just think it just needs to be individualized. No one can determine, when is the right time for that particular person. There are some people that have felt so adamantly about, about their sexuality from such a young age that, maybe this is her way of, pushing forward. Maybe, who's to say, who is it that's pushing forward with it? Is it him? Is this his support towards his child? Again, just like Marnita said, there are therapists involved, and there are things actively put in place. But who is anybody to determine when is that right time for that particular person? We don't know what that particular person is going
Right.
to.
As a minor, a parent should at
The
least.
parent, right?
Exactly, but he had the child has the support of the custodial parent.
Yeah, but the custodial parent is not the only parent that gets to make decisions.
Exactly.
But then
Yeah.
again, then you think about again, when does the
Well,
child get their own, it's them.
and
At
we don't
18.
know how far, how far this particular non-custodial parent is their
Involvement.
they're in the life of the child, or even mentally there,
Right.
to provide the support that's needed. We don't know.
Right.
I haven't even considered the ex-wife. It just seems to me, like Auntie says, there is no rush. And I don't care how many therapists you have. There are plenty of therapists that might say that my child at 17 was purely mature enough to be able to drink or buy a gun or do whatever. And I might be crazy enough to go along with that. That doesn't mean it should happen. There's no rush. They should be an adult, I think.
Right. Do you
Right.
think these companies are like dangling like a little carrot in front of Zaya's face and maybe kind of like help motivating it to be the
For money?
spokesperson? Because she's one of the most famous people to actually be transgender,
Yeah.
and a child of that. So do you think maybe like the whole Disney thing and all this sort of stuff.
I don't see what the
difference
difference would be. I mean, I don't really know what the deal is behind if people are giving her contracts and stuff, but I don't see why it would be any different for her to have that her gender changed on her birth certificate. If you're going to give me a contract, give me a contract. And then just as far as on Trees, when you were like, why does it have to be so public? I think it's just because that's the age we live in. Like teenagers are public now. Like everything's on their social media.
There are celebrities that have transgender children, like Angelina Jolie has a transgender child. I believe Ben Affleck has a transgender child, and they're not out in the public eye.
I think
is
it's
that
more
a
Zaya's
choice?
To be out there, because I know there was a story that Dwayne Wade turned off the comments on, I think, her Instagram because she was getting negative comments on her Instagram. So I think just with some kids, that's their life. Like, let me snap this, let me like put this up. That's probably what she wants. But I don't know for sure. I'm just saying probably.
And this is just this again, this is not with any kind of medications or surgery or anything. It's just changing a name, and that's
we don't know that she's not getting medications.
Okay, see, because that's another thing too, because if they are, if medication is being provided, I know that a lot of times they want to do it earlier because I guess it helps with the
Stop it before it starts.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
The hormone therapy long before you can do the surgery. It's
right. But if you're it aids you to catch it way in the beginning rather than waiting later in life.
Yeah. Like Nicole said, stop it before it starts, before you grow a beard and everything and got to go back.
Right.
You just kind of start taking the other hormones.
I just feel like it's an adult decision. I don't know.
No, I get you totally. I mean, I'm on the fence with it.
You need to vote for the mayor of your city, but
and sometimes you think too, at that age too, you're going through so many things, you don't even know, maybe today you like this outfit and tomorrow you don't. So how do you know necessarily about that? I get it.
Yeah, I remember
what I read on there, it said that she knew this since she was a child, and most transgender, when you and I don't know, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know any transgender individuals who that I could talk to, but they know very young. Most of them know, like, I knew I was I was in the wrong body, or I was born in the wrong body. And I think I read that they said that she's been saying this since she was 3.
Oh my gosh.
And again, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. I do agree with Antrese. I think they should wait before they start doing anything until they're adults, like you said, able to vote, able to, drink liquor legally in the US. But, and I also understand that they want to start getting them on that hormone before they start getting the testosterone and start looking manly, if that's the choice that they're going down. So
I think it's also can be a mental thing. As you were saying, Marilyn, I was going to say, I remember watching this show years ago. It was like a special on E, and it was showing kids that were like 6, 7 years old saying, I'm in the wrong body, I want to transition. And their parents were supporting them. And I remember thinking, like you, Antrese, I was like, this is way too young. Just like you said, Joe,
Right.
like, they can change their mind tomorrow. Like, why are we giving these kids hormones or whatever? Why are you guys giving these kids hormones? Because I'm not involved. But just as I've heard more stories and things, I know that this can, with some children, growing up and not being heard and not being accepted, can lead them into having severe problems, even being suicidal. So maybe that's the thought is, because that was my original thought, is like, wait until you're 18. But it's like, maybe if they've gone through talks and they believe that this is what's best for her mentally, then they're making that choice.
But she's already made the choice. She's already living that. She's not being forced to live as a boy.
Gender without changing it on your birth certificate. You can walk around as a girl, you can buy the clothes, you can style your hair, you can change your name socially, you can call yourself whatever you want, but that final decision is big, and there's no reason to do it
But,
Teresa, I have
okay,
a question for you on
Well-
that one. If she doesn't legally change her name and like from a school perspective, and she doesn't have her sex change, how does that translate? And I mean,
The school, so, for those of you who don't know, I used to be a principal in the state of California. And the law is you have to respect the gender that the child is saying that
okay,
they are.
that was what I was thinking. Maybe that would have been a
Absolutely.
reason.
The bathroom of the gender they identify with. You have to go, if they want to be called whatever name they've come up with, you call them that name. It's a social thing.
Okay.
Well, that's good
but
to know.
so
Well,
but
ladies,
here's-
that's our time. That's our time. So if you have any other comments, you can, pull up it down
Cut
there
us
and make
off,
it your show down there, ladies. Okay.
Wow.
I'll pay you by the hour. Okay, no overtime. No overtime. Now,
Oh, please, people, since we got cut off, maybe
Continue
y'all
the
can leave some
comments. Continue in the comments.
Yes, jump down
Let us
in
know
the
what
comments.
you think. And hopefully Alicia won't cut you off in the comments.
She'll be like, that's your time.
exactly. Come
That is
correct.
your time.
Good. No. Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone, for
ladies.
joining
Well,
us.
then, since we are done, hello.
Don't
Got
forget
it.
Until
More
next
water,
time.
please.
That
subscribe.
glass was good, Joe.
To support our channel, to hit that like button and to subscribe so that you get us every week when we upload.
Exactly. Get that bell. Ring that bell, please. See ya.
Bye.
Till next time.
Cheers.